Whoa, is that even legal? This guy should come with a health warning. This is just one example of the frightening power of Dortmund superstar Erling Haaland. Thankfully, everyone escaped unharmed, but this isn't always the case. We take a look at 6 times players faced up to the Norwegian and were left licking their wounds. Number 1. Virgil van Dijk. I do not really fear anyone. I think he's the best defender. Wait, is he saying he's so confident that even the best don't concern him? This guy's unhinged! While Haaland may not fear Van Dijk, we're not so sure the same could be said in reverse, because after the pair faced off in a World Cup qualifier, Van Dijk was left with one finger pointing in the wrong direction. The worst thing about it, Haaland was so focused on getting on the score sheet, he didn't even notice. I actually snapped his finger on him. I do not know how it happened. He just said, "F***ing hell, you broke my finger." He's good, so to speak. That's just the way it is. Said the stone-cold killer. Fair play to Van Dijk for soldiering on. We're not sure we would have had the courage to get back out there. Number 2. Joshua Kimmich. Der Klassiker is one of the most fiercely contested games in European football. Given their superior bank balance, the pressure is almost always on Bayern, which is perhaps why Joshua Kimmich was so scared by the sight of Haaland gearing up for a trademark sprint towards goal that he felt he had no choice but to scythe him down. Big mistake, Joshua. Big mistake. Kimmich threw his whole weight into the challenge, but he couldn't even knock Haaland off his stride. All he got for his troubles was a yellow card and a torn meniscus. No wonder he left the pitch in tears. Bayern were quick to rally around one of their senior players. We'll give him the best possible support during his rehab. Presumably most of that time was spent trying to stop the nightmares. Number 3. Thiago Silva. PSG and Dortmund put one another through a couple of grueling UCL contests in 2020, and Haaland was, as usual, at the center of just about everything, including scoring with a shot so powerful the ball would still be moving if the net wasn't there. A few PSG players got to experience the might of Haaland up close, and none of them fared very well. Paredes got a clip. Kimpembe didn't seem to know how to handle him. But it was Silva who bore the brunt. Flush on the chin. Was it the Norwegian's awkward running style? Was it just a flailing arm? Or was it a forearm smash? It's not for us to say. What we do know is that the Brazilian was very slow to get to his feet, and that an apologetic stomach pat from Haaland was really to let him know there was plenty more where that came from. The fact that Silva's son recently approached Haaland on Instagram to say, "Come to Chelsea, please," suggests dad isn't keen for a rematch. That's it, Thiago. Hide behind your kids like a real man. Number 4. Jerome Boateng. For years, Boateng was one of the most athletic defenders in Europe, and a player who simply refused to be dominated. But as Mike Tyson once said, everyone has a plan until they get smacked in the mouth. And that's basically what happened when these two met in the first Klassiker of 2021. The pair went up for a header, but only one man was left standing. The other sort of fell around wheezing, grimacing, and checking his jaw was still attached to his face. Which it was! Barely. Given he was recently found guilty of domestic violence, it's unlikely Boateng will get much sympathy. But in the interest of telling the full story, we should add that it hasn't been one-way traffic between these two men. Boateng took Haaland out of the return fixture with a crude challenge that left the Norwegian bruised and bloody. At least we know he's not actually a robot. Number 5. Robin Zentner. On January 16, 2021, Mainz keeper Zentner achieved 2 things that almost no man has ever done before. 1. He stopped Haaland from scoring. 2. He survived a high-speed clash with the Norwegian. Zentner was keeping goal for a team that was bottom of the Bundesliga, and he was in inspired form. After getting a string of key saves, he raced off his line and bravely dived at the feet of Haaland, who may or may not have decided to boot the keeper in the face. Zentner was clearly rocked by the contact, but after some on-field treatment, he managed to peel himself off the turf and continue. We cannot confirm whether he knew what day of the week it was. Number 6. Florian Grillitsch. Hoffenheim's Grillitsch may not look like the sort of player who can hold his own, but you don't get to play center half and center midfield at the highest level if you can't handle yourself. Following some impressive displays for Austria at Euro 2020, he even attracted a string of suitors that ranged from Milan to Newcastle. But we're guessing they skipped the videos that show him facing up to old mate Erling. because Florian was way out of his depth. The nadir came when 6-foot-something Grilic tried to get into position for a header, but failed to factor Haaland into the equation. Next thing you know, Grilic is hopping around in agony, and Haaland knew nothing about it. It doesn't look like a lot of contact, but previous evidence suggests that the Norwegian can generate enough force to blow a hole through an elephant. So, when he stands on your foot, it probably does hurt. Predictably, Haaland had the last word in this encounter by equalizing in the last 10 minutes. Like Kimmich before him, Grilic was faced with a choice: bring the striker down and risk injury, or make it look like he tried. Yes, he made the smart choice. Or maybe he was just way too slow. So, these are the players who tried to stand up to Haaland and came away with war wounds. But wait, the video is not over at all, because sometimes the greatest pain is in the mind. Hey, person editing the video, roll back the title sequence and let's take a look at 3 great defenders who were left with psychological scars after encountering the might of Haaland. Number 1, Dayot Upamecano. Upamecano is young, good on the ball, athletic, strong, mobile. Really, Rio? You sure about that? It seems like Erling may have bumped Upamecano so hard that he forgot who he was, because he doesn't look strong and athletic to us. That's embarrassing. In fact, we're not sure we've ever seen another center half dominated like that. Oh wait, yes we have. Next, number 2, Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz is the best center back in the world now. Yeah, Jose knows a thing or two about defending. So, when he speaks, you listen. Now, we're not saying he's wrong. You don't win the Premier League Player of the Season for nothing, but if he's the best, what hope is there for the rest of us? Diaz was sent sprawling towards the turf by Haaland in a tense UCL game. What made it worse? That he tried to stay on his feet and ended up going down in installments. Next time, just hit the dirt, Ruben, or maybe don't even bother turning up. So, we've witnessed 2 of the best struggling. What happens if we draft in the big guns? What say you, Sergio Ramos? Up for the fight? Number 3, Sergio Ramos. Spoiler alert, even El Capitano has been forced to take his Haaland medicine. The pair met in a 2019 friendly, when young Erling was still a relative unknown. But if Ramos had never heard of him beforehand, he knew who he was by the end. Because when they collided after contesting a 50-50 ball, Ramos was sent unceremoniously towards the turf, where he just sort of sat and contemplated his place in the world. No scramble to his feet, no appeal to the ref, nada. If he's not interested in a little scuffle, then you know something isn't right. We're guessing that you, like everyone else in the football world, can't get enough of Erling Braut Haaland. But do you know what inspired his meteoric rise to the top? No? Probably time you fix that by watching this video on the story behind his journey from lanky teenager to goal-scoring machine. You can thank us later. And stay tuned for more videos about the world's best football stories.